Hi everybody. First off, I want to say Happy New Year's to all of you. It is 2020, so another great year ahead of us, and I am super excited. My goal this year is to get a bit more consistent with my uploads on my videos. A lot of things happened last year that kind of made me stop for a while, basically. I took the time that I needed, and my goal this year is to be more consistent. So I'm hoping for one video a week for you guys. Not going to promise what it is, whether it's me playing with makeup or mixing up some shakes or just chit chat. Like, I don't know, whatever feels right at the time, that's what we're going to do. But more videos for you guys. That's the goal, because I really enjoy doing this, and so I want to do that. I do look quite interesting at the moment. I did go ahead and do one eye already today. This is a bit more of a detailed look, so it takes a bit more time, and I didn't want to upload a 3-hour video of me doing this and squinting at my phone. So this is look 2 on my 7-day challenge with my KKW Classic palette. We are doing a cut crease today. So the only criticism I have for this on myself is, as always, my brows aren't done, which kind of makes this space a little more blurred and not as differentiated as I would like. So if you've got some more space there, or you've got your brows done, you can throw on a brow bone highlight, and that will kind of clean up that line for you. So in this area, it just gets a bit muddy on me, and that is because I am horrible at scheduling appointments to get my brows waxed. And not because I don't like it, I don't mind it. It stings, but only for a second, so it's not like a big deal, but I just always forget to schedule it. And when I have time, I usually have makeup on, and if they wax it, they're gonna wax off that much of my makeup, and then I'm gonna look awful. So unless I plan ahead, which I never do, they don't get done, which they're never done. So that's all. We're gonna jump right into it. We're gonna start with a blending brush, and as I was talking about yesterday, we're gonna start with our transition. And I'm gonna use this one here to blow out the majority of my transition, and then this shade here, which is the darkest shade in the palette, to do the deeper parts and that outer V corner. And then we're going to go in with this really gorgeous kind of yellowy color. I'll be honest, that is the color that drew me to this palette. I was really worried whether or not it would look good with my skin tone, but I had to have it. It's just a gorgeous kind of suede yellow tan color. So we're going to play with that today. I am going to go in though with this first color for my transition, and we're going to get started. So I'm not worried about being super accurate when I do this, because we are going to clean up the lid space that we're going to be using for the cut crease. Now, I have hooded eyes, which means that when I open my eyes, a good portion of my lid disappears under this crease. So I want to cut my crease, if you look on this side, above my natural crease, and that's going to create more lid space. So I'm going to blow out my transition pretty much all the way up to my brow bone. And this is where I was just talking about, if my brows were done, I could throw a lighter shade right against my brows and kind of clean that up and define my brows and my shadow space a bit more. But since my brows aren't done, if I did that, I would basically have a highlighted spot with lots of little hairs showing. So if I don't highlight my brows, yeah, it looks a little undefined, but my hairs are light enough that you don't notice them as much. So it just looks a little undefined, but I don't look hairy, if that makes sense. So I'm just really taking my time, and I'm using my unique blending brush. Whatever you've got on hand, this is a fluffy, very soft brush. It's not extremely dense, So it's really good for blowing out the shadows. I do have my lids primed with my NARS primer. Again, that one has more slip to it, less grip. More slip, less grip. Yay, I rhymed. Believe it or not, I have had my Thrive this morning, so any random weirdness that comes out of my mouth, I can assure you that that is purely me. That's my personality. Random, weird. But it is New Year's Day, and so I have the day off. Not like my job is really hard, because my job is taking care of my nieces and my nephew, and I absolutely love it. And I'm just dipping back in whenever I want more. I really want to have a nice dark transition. I want the color to be noticeable, because this is what we're going to cut the crease into. Anyway, so I have the day off, so I figured I would do this look just because it does take more time. So I wanted to do this one today. Because it takes more time and I can take more time. Sorry, stopped mid-sentence on you guys. All right, and then I am going to go in now with this darker shade right here. And I'm going to use a few different brushes. I'm going to start off with a slightly smaller blending brush. Same deal though, very soft, not super dense. And I'm not going to tap off too much of the product when I dip in, because I do want this to be noticeable. We are going to wipe away. I don't want to go up as high as I did though, so I want to leave a little bit of space. I'm not worried about going down, because we are going to darken up this outer V with the same shade. And then the inside we're going to cut away with some concealer. And I'll show you guys that step in a minute, obviously, when we get to it. Better know what I'm telling you ahead of time. So I'm going to start on the outer V. And I'm just going to bring the color up into my natural crease and a little bit above it. So we're going all the way into the inner corner with it. And I'm using mostly windshield wipers, but some circular blending, just to blend it out. But I'm using the windshield wiper motion to get the color where I want it. But because it is my day off and I've been playing with makeup now for a while, doing the other eye and stuff like that, it is lighter. So I have my camera back in the normal position. So I hope this is easier for you guys to see what I'm doing. I try to get the best setup for you guys as I can. But we're still moving in, we're still unpacking. That'll be happening for like the next 2 years, because my family gave up helping like a month ago. So it's all me, and I've got a garage full of things. But I also have a lot of work to do in our bedroom now. So right after we moved in, the rails on our bed broke, which they were not even the rails that belonged to the bed. We got the headboard and footboard from my mom for free, because it was offered to her, and it's a sleigh bed, and I had always wanted one. And so she brought it up to me, and then we went out, and it took us all day going to like every secondhand store imaginable, trying to find rails. And we finally got some the right length for the mattress-ish, but they definitely did not work for the bed. But we jerry-rigged it so it did, and that lasted for about 2 years. And then the little piece of metal that we had the mattress balanced on finally gave way, because it wasn't intended to hold up the whole mattress. So that gave way, and so now our mattress is on the floor. I have no bed frame, and looking for some rails, or I'm going to build sideboards for the bed. I had to think about the word for a second. So that's the project that I've got to do for the bed. And then on Christmas Day, my dresser disintegrated. So I went to pull out my drawer to pull out a pair of pajamas, and the drawer just broke apart. It's an old dresser. It was a floor model. So I got it really cheap and used. And I know when we were moving, that drawer did get dropped, which happens. Particle board though, so I had already like screwed it together the best I could, and the particle board just couldn't hold it. So I've got my dresser now in shambles because when it fell, that drawer fell, it fell on top of another one and cracked it. So now there are two drawers that pull out at the same time because one is basically sitting on top of the other. So I need a new dresser, I need a new bed, and setting up a makeup station is not the priority when you have those things. So I'm going to switch to my unique crease brush. And the reason I'm switching to this one is it's very dense and very stiff bristled, and it's really good for putting the product where you want it, and really pushing it in where you want it. So I'm going to load up my brush with this dark color, and we're going to go in that same spot, focusing on the crease. And this is where I'm going to get the real depth of that color in the crease and really define that line that we're going to cut out. So I'm just really packing this darker shade on and taking my time with it. And that's the important thing, is you want it to be blended out well enough that it looks seamless, but you want that color to be deep enough so when you cut the crease, you can see the cut. And so now you can kind of really tell when I open my eyes where that dark color disappears, and I want to go just above where it disappears. And so I'm doing that by looking straight ahead into my mirror. I open my eyes so I can see how much of the color I have above my crease, and then I'm closing and looking down and raising my eyebrows to kind of pull that skin tight, and then pushing the color in where I need it. And I'm just slowly building from my natural crease up into where I want my new crease to be. So take your time with this, especially if you have hooded eyes. That's going to make all of the difference, is having that crease where you need it to be, if that makes sense. Because if you don't rebuild a crease for yourself, basically above your natural crease, when you cut it, you're not even going to see the cut, and that's kind of a waste of time, and you lose the effect. So you do want to be able to cut your crease where you're going to be able to see that defined line. And like I said, it doesn't matter if we go too far down, because the front portion of the lid we're going to clean up. The back portion of the lid we're going to pack this color on anyway, so it's okay. So I'm going to go back in with that first blending brush that we used, and I'm just going to go over the line that I just created with that crease brush and kind of blend it out now. So that we don't have any harsh lines where we don't want harsh lines. And then I'm going to go in with a smaller detail brush. I have no idea what this is called. It's a Moda brush though. Got it in a BoxyCharm. And I'm going to basically pack this color on to this outer V, going about halfway in on my lid. And I'm going to bring it all the way up to that crease line. So we're really deepening up this outer corner. and up into the crease. So now that I've got everything all blended out in that darker color, now we're gonna do the fun part, which is the cutting of the crease. And this is where I gotta make all sorts of funny faces and you guys get to laugh. So to cut the crease, I am going to use a flat shader brush, and this one's all messy because I already used it on this side. You want something that is very narrow because you want to be able to get a crisp, clean line. And I am going to go in with my concealer. So this is the Infallible Full Wear Concealer from L'Oreal, in the shade As Light as Possible, because that's my skin tone. And I'm just going to get the product onto my brush. And then this is the fun part. Now, don't be scared of it. It's only makeup. You screw up, you wash it off and start again. So this is not something that you do in the morning getting ready for work for the first time ever. Practice it a few times. It's just makeup though. It can sense your fear. So I'm going to look straight ahead with my eyes open so that I can make sure that I put my crease where I can see it. I'm going to start down here at the corner and put a little dot, and then I'm going to go back to this back half and I'm going to put a mark. So you can see that mark above my natural crease. And then I'm just going to connect those two in a quarter circle. I almost said half circle, but I'm not going to go all the way to the back. So this is considered a half cut crease because I'm only going halfway. I could cut it all the way out, put a wing on it, something like that. But I thought that this would be pretty. So this is what we're doing. Same technique, just go further out. And what I do is I kind of just pat it on until I get the line, and then swipe to clean it up. Okay, so now I have the negative space with my concealer, and I'm just going to take my finger and I'm going to pat that outer edge, kind of diffuse it a little bit. Into that darker brown. Clean off my finger. And then I'm going to go in, this is just another detail brush, and I'm going to go into that darker brown, and I'm just going to pat it back on. And I just am doing it with a different brush because I don't want to get concealer on the other brush, because I'm going to be using it again for the darker shade. But you can definitely go in with that same brush and do this. But I'm just going to pat it over the edge of the concealer and back into the corner again, just to kind of diffuse that line. And then I'm going to go in with my detail brush, a clean detail brush, and we're going to go into that yellow shade now. I'm going to load up my brush and we're going to pat it onto the concealer. So we're not using a primer at this point. We're using our concealer as a primer, and the shadow is going to stick to the concealer. And I'm just patting it all the way up into the line, but not going over it. So I'm stopping right at the line for the crease that we cut. I am, though, patting it over where we put that darkest shade. And I'm just really packing that color on so we have full intensity of it. It is a lighter color, but I want the difference between that darker color and this lighter color. So now you can see we've got some creasing action going. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do my bottom waterline. So we're going to take a small pencil brush and we're going to go in with that first transition color that we used, and we're going to go all the way across the bottom lash line. And really connect it into that back corner. And just kind of smoke it out. And then I'm going to take a clean pencil brush, or you can use the same one and just wipe it off. And I'm going to go into that darker color, and I'm just going to put it on the outer edge of the bottom lash line and stick really close to my lashes. And just connect it to that back V, and that's going to intensify the darkness on this side of the eye, but leave the inside more bright and open. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a smudger brush, and we're going to go in with this really light shimmery shade. And I'm going to put that on the inner corner to kind of brighten up the inner edge. And I'm going to go right along the edge of my cut crease. Kind of lightens it up and cleans it up some. But I don't want to lose the yellow. So I'm going to go back in, no additional product on the brush we used to apply the yellow. And again, just pat it right up to that line. Because I mostly just want the shimmer on my inner corner. But I want the clean effect of a crisp line. I'm not going to do liner on my top. I have put liner on my bottom waterline, and I should have said that before I started. I used a nice chocolate colored liner on my bottom waterline. You can do it at this point if that's the way you do it, which I think is the more normal way, but I like to do my bottom waterline before I start. But I'm going to take a flat angled brush and my darkest color again, and I'm going to use that to line the top of my eye, and just press it in against my lash line in place of an eyeliner. And I like to do this just because it's easier for me. I feel like I have more control doing a push liner like this rather than doing a pencil liner on top. And it's good to know too that if you don't have a liner that meets the look that you're going with, that doesn't, that doesn't match, if you don't have one that does match, you can use a shadow like this to line your eye any color that you want. So got that, and that just helps to intensify my lashes, make them a little bit bolder. And we're going to finish off with some mascara. So I'm going to use my Too Faced Better Than Sex because it does give good volume to my lashes, and that's kind of what I'm going for. It's my preferred mascara at the moment. Do you see that? I just got it all over my lid right there. Why does that happen? We'll clean that up in a second. So if you ever do have that happen, it's not the end of the world. You just have to clean it up. And my preferred way is Q-tip or small shader brush. Go in with the color that you need and just right over it. See, like it never happened. All right, there you have it. Day 2, look 2, we have some cut crease action going on. So you guys tell me, do you like it? Have you done cut creases before? If not, you should try it. It's fun. There's a few different ways to do it, but this is what I like to do when I'm doing a half cut crease. So that's it. I'm gonna stop the video because I got nothing else to say to you guys. Happy New Year's.